Hey everyone, this is Andrew from Box Productions, and welcome back to another creepy story time. So, this one is actually a little bit different. It's not going to be something other creepy story that I've heard before, but it's going to be one that actually happened to me personally, and it happened all the way back in 2002, so about 16 years ago. And thinking about that, now I feel really old because I remember something that far back, that it was like 16 years ago at this point. But yeah, anyway, it has to do with when my family went up to New York for Christmas that year, and my dad wanted to invoke the whole white Christmas thing by going up there during, around Christmas, because it was predicted to snow on that day. So we were up. But then again, you know how that works. Sometimes it snows, but then it turns into sleet, then just really, really cold rain, which we've seen before living down here. Anyway, while we were up in New York, he got the idea we should go to Philadelphia. You know, see all the historical sites, the Liberty Bell, all that stuff down there. And the thing is, we went through Pennsylvania before, but we've never been there. And that's another creepy story that I might do some other time as to why going to Pennsylvania was really kind of freaky. But, like, within an hour, he changed his mind, and he still has not explained why he changed his mind. Maybe it's because the drive was too long and it was still snowing, I guess. So he decided, okay, we're gonna go to Boston. So on the way up there, we sort of driving up there, and we started early because, as you know, it gets dark up north really late, really early, and in winter it gets dark even earlier. Because while we came up there before, it was like 4 o'clock and the sun was going down. So we're going up there. We stop at all these places, and I'm guessing we kind of went back south a little bit because some of the places are further south of New York than they are. I don't exactly remember where. But we also went up to Plymouth Rock and a few other places, and I guess my dad realized the mistake of stopping at all these places, all these historical sites, and all these places and everything, and going off the highway constantly. And then there was the fact that he got lost. And you know how dads are. I mean, they don't want to ask for directions. I mean, my dad was all, just because I don't know where I am doesn't mean we're lost, and I know where I'm going, even though he's never been to this side of the country before, and neither have we. In fact, the only person who's ever been up there was my brother, and he was up there on a ski trip, and he went straight to Vermont. He didn't drive through anywhere. So the sun goes down, and we're now even more lost on the back roads of Massachusetts. and I'm guessing and this is where things get creepy. So while we're still driving, it wasn't really late at night. Like I said, it gets dark early, so it was around 7, 8 o'clock. So while on our way to Boston, we end up going through this town that my dad said was outside of Boston. And thinking about it, I'm not really sure how accurate that was, because one of the freaky things about this is we can't find that town again. I have no idea where that town was. Even when I had a map in my room, I was unable to locate where that town was. It didn't show it anywhere outside of Boston. So the thing about it is, we went to this town really early in the night, and this is where things get creepy, because there was nobody in this town. Like, nobody. And nobody anywhere. There were no lights on in houses. There were no lights on in stores, even the ones that are supposed to be open 24 hours, like 7-Eleven. The 7-Eleven was closed. That in and of itself is pretty creepy, because they never close. They almost never close at all. Yet for some reason this one was. We spent all the time driving around trying to find somewhere to stay, because my dad didn't want to keep driving. I guess this is how we realized he was actually lost, because he didn't want to keep driving anymore, and it was getting dark. But the other thing about this creepy, aside from the fact there were no lights on, there were no street lights anywhere. There was nobody walking on the street, nobody driving on the street except for us, and the only thing that could have made this worse is that if there was some kind of an unnatural fog flowing through the town or something. Like, this was legitimately like a real life Silent Hill. Like after everything, like during the story, where the town is completely deserted or something. It was like really creepy. That was one of the things that was going through my mind during that event. It's like, oh, did we just drive into Silent Hill? Like, what? Like, Dad, look what you've done! You got us lost permanently now! Now we're gonna get stuck here and get attacked by monsters and everything! How could you do this? And, so we eventually did find a hotel, and the creepiness doesn't stop because there wasn't a single car in the parking lot. There was nobody there. Yet signs were. This was the only place with lights on. So we actually go into the hotel. We actually find the manager there. He's a very friendly and congenial. He's a very friendly guy. But the thing about it is, like, remember I said there were no cars in the parking lot? So how was he there? Maybe he walked, but that's a possibility. But still, maybe he lives in the hotel or something. I don't know how he got there. I mean, but not in this, because there was still snowing and it was still really cold. Like, would you want to walk to work in that cold? Because nobody else was walking. So one has to wonder about this hotel as to why it was open. Why it was even still open when nobody was staying there, and they basically had no customers and nobody in that entire town. And I still have to wonder about the guy who was still working there, who somehow got there without a car. I mean, like I said, he could walk, but still, it still kind of doesn't make sense as to why he even opened the hotel that night when it seemingly nobody was gonna show up. There was nobody staying in this hotel. Not even the lights were on the inside, like anywhere, like in the central area of it. There were no lights on. And it just adds to the creepy factor that we don't know anything about the hotel manager, but he could just be like Norman Bates for all we know. It's probably why nobody stays there. I mean, we don't know what happened to this town. Like, it was completely deserted. Somehow we did manage to get through the night, and we woke up the next morning, and oh, good, it was so good because there was no creepy fog. It wasn't dark anymore, but problem didn't go away because the town was still deserted. There was still nobody in this town. Nobody was walking. Nobody was driving. There was nobody to be seen, and the hotel manager had disappeared. I mean, he just wasn't there anymore. There was somebody else there, but there was still no car. There was still no car now. Like, so, what's happening with this place? Eventually, my dad eventually drove us out of this town. I'm surprised that we didn't end up in like a time loop or something and just kept driving in and out of the town without going anywhere or something like that. Because that's happened to us before, but still, we managed to get out, and we did manage to find out that we were actually nowhere near Boston. We were actually nowhere near Boston at all. We didn't get to Boston until sometime at night that day, even though my dad was like, oh, we're just outside of Boston, but apparently just outside of Boston equates to almost 12 hours or so. So, yeah, and we didn't find this town again for some reason. I don't think we drove back the same way, I guess, because we didn't want to drive through Silent Hill again. So, we didn't know what will happen, because we managed to escape last time. There's no reason to go back. So, but the thing about it is, I wasn't really able to find this town again. If anybody knows where this town is, please let me know, because I still haven't found it. I'd like to go back. Maybe people moved into it or something. Maybe it's not as creepy now. Maybe something changed about it. But I still haven't been able to find it. I can't really give much of a description about it, except that it's a town somewhere in Massachusetts. Unless we drove into. But yeah, that's the creepy story that actually happened to me personally, and I do have a lot of these where things have happened, and I may do them along with this series if anybody's interested. But yeah, that's the end of the story. So yeah, like I said, it creeps me out that we can't find this town, and it creeped me out that we even went to this place. But still, that's not one of the most creepy things to happen to us, or happen to me personally in over my lifetime. So yeah, I'll probably talk about this in another video. But for this, I'm gonna end this one here. So be sure to check out my other videos, those Pricebox Productions videos, or channel's Pricebox Gaming and Pricebox Reacts. Thanks for watching, and stay jamming, everyone.